Hello everybody, welcome back to the Advanced Vape channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the WORMHOLE RDA from VAPEFLY. This came in the same mail as the last review, which was the Galaxy's MTL, so this was sent to me for the purposes of this review, but that's not going to change my opinion of it. So I've been kind of taking my time on this. This is not like the Galaxy's MTL, this is just a high performance RDA. And the biggest thing about this is that there is a crazy amount of airflow stuff going on. So here's the RDA. I'll just show the deck. It's got a clamp style, and the clamps kind of lift up with the screws. It also has the center section. And I'll take this off. With a little leaf that goes on there for a center airflow, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I'm talking about all the airflow options. So you have the option to have this leaf on, and it comes with an extra one, or you can take it off for more airflow. So I'll go on and put this back on. This also comes with a squonk pen, not installed, but it comes with it in the package. So the build deck is super easy to build on. As you can see, it's just clamps, and I like that the clamps lift up with the screws so you don't have to wrestle with it like a goon. They're on the same plane, so you have to kind of wrap your coils accordingly or work with them a little bit to get them to go in there. I just do the kind of curl when I'm wrapping the coils to make them be on the same level instead of kind of offset. So a really deep juice well there, a huge juice well in there. And here is the intake for that center air. It's on the side there, and that kind of comes into play with the top cap, which is kind of confusing at first. There's a lot going on there. But basically you have the option to do pretty much any kind of combination you can think of bottom and direct air. So if you want just bottom air, you can put it on like this. I'm not going to put it on all the way because this cap is hard to get off. You can put it on like this so that just this right here is connected to the bottom air. And then with this upper top cap, you can put it on so that these airflows are blocked. Like that. So there's no kind of access to the direct air, and you're just getting the bottom. You can put it on with the two dots, which would mean two coil. So like that, and then have this section like that. You can't have all of these direct airs open because this is too small. But in my experience, this is a lot of air, and you really don't want all of them open. So if you just want to do direct air, you can turn it like this, and that's only the direct air, and the bottom thing is blocked off. And you can also do it so that you have a single coil. So that's bottom air open and this little single coil setup. On either side. So a ton of different airflow options. I've been kind of keeping it simple and just doing both bottom and direct air. So on this one and all the way down with 3 of those like that. Sorry that the focus keeps going in and out. So basically my experience with this has been really easy to build on, and just a ton of airflow options going on. So I'm going to put a build in here real quick, and I'll wick it and get it all set up, and then we'll talk about how it actually performs. Okay, so I just put a quick fuse Clapton build on there. I just want to point out the kind of way that this airflow is designed is pretty clever. So as you can see, I have the coils put here, and they're going to be hit by the direct air, and they're also going to be hit by that center air, and it's kind of positioned so that it's going to come in from the bottom, which is kind of ideal. I think that it would be a little bit different if you took this center leaf off of there. So I'm not sure how well that would work, but just the way that it's set up now is kind of prime position for the airflows. One thing I want to point out really quick before I wick it and try it out, I'm not really happy with the size of the coils that you can fit on here. That juice well is huge, but if you put big coils in there, you have quite a bit of trouble fitting enough cotton down in there to really make any use of that. For how easy this is to build and how many different airflow options it has, it would be nice to be able to fit bigger coils in there. Previously, I'd used 5-wrap staples, frame staples in there, and they fit without any issue, but they were just so big that the amount of cotton that I could fit in there was pretty small, so it basically totally negated having that gigantic juice well with just a little bit of cotton in there. And it just made it harder to get the cotton in there at all. So these are quite a bit smaller coils, so I'll be able to fit a bunch of cotton in there. I just would have liked to see a little bit more kind of flexibility on the size of coils that you put in there. But I don't really see a way that that would work unless the diameter was a little bit bigger. I like the way that it's divided and there's a wall in there. Normally, when a tank has a wall in there, the flavor gets boosted by having the reduced kind of chamber. There are some exceptions to that, like postless RDAs that perform really well, but in general, the wall tends to help. So that said, it would kind of have to go outwards a little bit to be able to fit the coils that I was talking about. Okay, so I'm going to go and put some cotton in here and we'll give it a try. So if you could see, I know that it keeps going in and out of focus, and it was sped up, but I'm trying to make sure that the cotton's not blocking those center areas, so I'm kind of scooting it off to the side. Okay, so I'm going to have this with the bottom airflow open and both side. This top cap can be very hard to get on there. A little bit easier, obviously, when there's some juice on there, but I just cleaned it. I also want to point out, before I start vaping on it again, this upper top cap section, I don't know what's going on with the focus today, but I'll wait for it to focus. This upper section has a drip tip you can take out. I washed this really well in preparation for filming this, but if you look at get the angle just right, you can still see there's juice down in there from vaping on it before, like right down there. So that's a little bit frustrating that I can't get to that juice. It's hard to get it clean all the way. From any kind of normal angle you can't see it, but just oblong you can kind of see that it's still down in there, and water wasn't able to get that out. So I'm going to look at where the coils are positioned there and put the airflow on kind of the furthest leftmost to hit the coils. Which is another kind of reason why this tank doesn't really go super well with really wide coils. So this coil is about the width of these 3 holes, so it's totally fine. But if you're doing a wider coil, you're not going to be hitting the entire thing with the airflow. Not a huge deal because the bottom makes up for it, but it's not ideal for really large coils. I'm going to use this at about 105. Now I'm going to try closing it down just a little bit. I'm going to do maybe 1.5. That makes it really loud and doesn't really boost the flavor. Really clean flavor, quite a bit of air in there for the coils that I have in there. But the flavor is, it's not super warm and dense like the Reload is. It's a little bit cooler and more airy, but really accurate flavor to the juice. I wouldn't say it's the best flavor out of the tanks that I have, but for a dripper, it's extremely good. I don't use drippers that much day to day. There's a couple that I use, but I mainly use tanks. As far as flavor goes, though, this is right up there with them. It's not going to beat the Reload, but with all of those airflow options, it's really nice, and I really like that airflow coming in from the bottom. To me, it makes a big difference. If you try it with just the side air, it's okay, but having the air coming in under the coil is kind of puts it over the top in terms of flavor. So overall, it's a nice RDA. I like all of the airflow options on there. I would like to be able to fit a little bit bigger coils in there. So like if there was a 28 millimeter version or something, I could fit some huge coils in there. But for what it is, and for I would say most people that don't put in gigantic coils the way that I do, it's a really nice RDA. It kind of surprised me how good the flavor is on this. It's definitely able to hold more juice on there with the smaller coils in there and being able to fit more cotton in there. I know when I had the big staples in there before, it was maybe 2 or 3 vapes and then it was drying out and I needed to refill it, which was pretty annoying. If you're not putting huge coils in there, like I said, it's good. I don't have any problems with how saturated it is right now. You saw how much I just vaped and it's doing fine. So yeah, if you're into airflow options and just looking for kind of a good flavor RDA that's affordable, it's a good choice. So that'll bring us to the end of this video about the Wormhole RDA from VAPEFLY. If you like this video on our channel, give us a like and subscribe. And as always, if you have any questions, leave them below or send me an email.